I'm going to be covering something more serious today. There is a chance you might already know about what is going on. Do you remember when a few developers for this game were hired and the progress just really sped up? Those developers have been fired due to certain reasons. I might not go too in depth because they've already covered this in the announcements in the Towns of Peace Discord server, and Bellasaurus has already covered her side of it as well. But basically, the developers did break the leaking rules, which resulted in them being fired. I might talk more about that later, but I don't know if I should go too in depth, since they've explained their sides of the situation already, and I don't really want to spread any misinformation in case something comes out of my mouth wrong. But a lot of the community has been quickly panicking over this occurrence. Firing of these developers has resulted in a lot of panicking and misinformation in the community that I really wanted to clear up. An announcement was posted in the Towns of Peace Discord server, a few announcements actually, about what happened here. Bellasaurus also posted her side of the story, so we get to hear from both perspectives about this. But since this news caused a lot of the community to panic, I want to just clear some things up, and I want to tell you guys not to panic. So, what exactly is going on here? Why am I making this video? Well, there was an announcement posted in the Towns of Peace Discord server announcing that some of the dev team has been fired. After they got demoted, Bizzle has asked them to remove all her paid contributions to the game, which is going to mean that the game is going to roll back significantly in terms of updates. So some things that have been added over the past year or so with these new developers will be getting removed. And this is why a lot of people have been panicking, because when they first made that post, they weren't exactly specific enough about what was going to be removed. The game is going to look and be exactly like it was before the devs. Bella and Goldie's changes will remain in the game, such as the models and the map changes. But some things are going to be temporarily removed due to these developers being demoted. So I really don't want you guys to panic, but the game's progress is going to be rolling backwards to before those developers started working on the game. The things that are going to be removed include ages, character swapping in-game, map improvements, and the Leaf Wing. For the Leaf Wing, the Leaf Speak code and the tribe might be temporarily disabled. So I know this is devastating to all of you, but I really don't want you guys to panic. A lot of people have been panicking and making this more of a bad situation than it already is. They specifically said in the announcement that it may take a while, but they will get the game back up to where it was. I have heard people panicking and saying that this will be the downfall of the game, but I like to think that that is not true. They will be looking at dev applications as in order to keep the game processing so that the development will stay alive. I also wanted to point out that they did not want this to happen. This was not their choice, but this is what one of the fired developers wanted, and they have to make this choice. And even though it'll take a while, the game's progress will get back to where it was, so I don't want you guys to panic. Arch has even apologized for this inconvenience, and said that to soften the blow of this loss and to make you guys feel better, all currently modeled accessories will be unlocked for everybody. We are all going to have accessories, because they really didn't want to do this. This wasn't their choice. And they don't want us to be all devastated about this. They feel genuinely bad about this, and they will try to get the game back up to where it was before. But I will let you know that it may take a while because they will be looking at developer applications to speed up the process. They are also going to be potentially expanding the color palettes of some tribes whenever they are able to help you guys feel better about that as well. They say they are very sorry about this, and they said this wasn't their choice. But this is what the fired developers wanted, and they had to respect that choice. And I know that this is devastating to all of you. I know that the leaf wing being removed and the age is being removed and all that. I know that's all devastating to you, but I just want to tell you guys not to, once again, I'm going to tell you, panicking is not going to help anything, and I want you all to stay calm, okay? I panicked a little bit when I first saw this news. Okay, I actually kind of had an anxiety attack, but this is not going to be the end of the game. I don't want people to think that. That is not true. The game will get back to where it was. Panicking is going to get you nowhere but make you feel worse about the situation. I want to reassure you that despite all this, it will be okay. Even if it takes a while, it will be okay. I want you to bear with me. Even with all this happening, I am never going to leave this community. I am never going to give up on it. I am always going to make development videos for this game for as long as it stands. This will not be the downfall of the game. This is not the end of an era. Some people may think it is, but I really don't want people to be spreading misinformation about this. I really don't want to see any fear-mongering. From what we know, ages, leaf wing, in-character selection menu, and some visual changes will be removed, but there are also things that will not be affected. Your save slots will not be affected, the map will not be affected, the C-Wing remodel will not be affected. This list is subject to change because they are trying to get you answers as fast as possible, so I will let you know if anything changes, but for now this is what we know is going to change. I do want to let you know that the situation, like I said, is out of their hands and wasn't their choice, and they're going to try to keep the game up. But if worst comes to worst, they may need to temporarily take down the game. I am not saying permanently. I do not want people to go around saying, oh, they're gonna permanently take down the game, because that is not what's going to happen, because that is not what they said. If they were ever to take down the game because of this, it would be temporarily. They would not keep it disabled forever. And like I'm saying, I just really don't want people to panic over this. So please do not panic over this, as they are saying that all these changes are temporary and this isn't going to be a permanent thing. Once more developers are hired, I'm sure the progress of the game will be speeding up. So now, what happened with the dev team? Exactly what has led to all of this? I thought I might as well cover that just so you guys are aware. I might basically try to sum it up the best I can because I don't want to discuss anything that's too confidential. I am quoting this from the announcements in the Discord server. All the developers were in a server with the game testers alongside other friends who were not testers or staff for the game in any way. They chose to share their works in progress, streaming private development that was not approved to be shared, and sharing staff chat screenshots. The leaking was not just development, but also conversations and information meant to be confidential for the agreement upon hiring. All the game testers they let in were personal friends of the developers. The developers have vouched for them, and so they agreed. There were smaller secrets shared amongst the group from the devs, which they refused to tell the game animus about. The testers saw this happening, yet did not remind anyone else about the rules they all agreed to become testers. Long story short, they violated the rules, and they were apparently speaking badly about the staff. They also constantly had inappropriate reactions to being called out by the player base. It is unknown if the testers or other members shared information outside of the server. They do still have evidence showing an uptick of people giving false release dates and sharing things they shouldn't have known. But regardless, they all still broke the rules and unfortunately had to be punished. Many people have been asking why leaking was so bad in the first place. They understand that people want to see more, and the fact devs would like to share their work, but a lot of the times the leaked items weren't approved. Many had to be changed and it would have caused issues if they were shared. They try to ensure that everything stays canon as they want to respect the IP that they don't own. Wings of Fire is not their brand, and it really isn't even their own game in some ways. These developers had also posted improper images in game chat and ignored strict instructions not to do something. They dismissed almost every rule set for them on multiple occasions, regardless of reminders and interventions, due to viewing it as being too strict. That was Arch's side of things. Now I'll be sharing Bella's side of things. Bella and the other developers who were fired. Bella has admitted to some things. She does admit that they excused the sharing of info as just telling friends. She does admit to dismissing those rules because of how strict they were. She does admit that it was silly of them to add certain additions, certain joke additions that weren't really relevant, such as the green slot bowl, because they were worried about legal issues or something like that. She admits that they have talked about issues in the past. And she does admit that they did break the leaking rules. The fired staff admit that they tried to manage their reactions, and other staff told them when they were saying something wrong, and they did have discussions about it. They also said that there was no secret development. There were allegations about them dismissing Arch's struggles as being disabled, but Bella says that she did not dismiss her struggles and that these allegations are not true. She didn't mean it that way at all, and she meant no harm. I will not be covering much of that part of the situation because it's kind of controversial, and I feel like it's kind of too personal to talk about here, but I will say that Bella did not mean any harm by the looks of it, and that she did not mean it that way. Bella also says that the testers did not share any of the info out of the server. So that's basically what I'm summing up here from both sides of things. And while I feel like there was some problems on both ends, and that I really think they could have worked this out pretty easily, it is unfortunate that it had to come to this, and I'm very sorry it did. But I really want to say here, please do not harass anybody mentioned in any of this. Harassing people is not going to do any good at all, and it is not going to help anything. But they are already going through so much, and I really don't want anyone to be harassing anybody about this, please. Copied from Bellasaurus's Discord server, I think staff's big worry about leaking wasn't just about dev stuff, but also staff operations, because Goldie and I would also talk about problems we were having and sometimes send screenshots of staff discussions to show them about what they were saying. I mentioned this because we invited a staff member into our private server after we got to meet them IRL. They leaked all of the stuff as we were saying back to the staff team, which I guess fair game since we also talked about staff stuff to our private server. So listen, after I've discussed all this, I know this is a kind of a big tragedy, and I know you're all panicking right now, but I want to let you know that even if it takes forever, it will return back to normal. I really don't want you to panic, and to feel better about the situation, I'm gonna try and see if you can look on the bright side of things. Yes, Leafwing will likely be temporarily disabled. Don't be surprised if it is. Yes, ages will be temporarily removed. The in-game character selection menu will be temporarily removed. And some visual changes, such as the newer nighttime lighting, will be removed. But these things will be re-added. Try looking on the bright side of the things. The game is not getting deleted. If the worst comes to worst, it could be temporarily disabled, but it is not getting deleted. This is not the end of an era. This is not the end of the game. This is not going to be the downfall of anything. And I don't want you to think that way. Think of it this way. We will be getting accessories, and even if it takes forever, things will be returning back to normal. You will still be able to play the game, you will still be able to roleplay. It's not like you're gonna have to, not play the game anymore or something like that. Please take note of what I'm saying and realize that just because of this tragedy doesn't mean the game's gonna get, deleted or anything. Despite all this, you still have the game, you will still be able to play. This is not entirely the downfall. This is just a dark moment right now. In the meantime, try seeing if you can roleplay once the accessories are out. Sure, you won't be able to have your ages, or you won't be able to have your leaf wings, but you'll still be able to roleplay. You can still have fun in the game. Just please, I beg of you, don't see this as the end, because it's not. Here's some more information about this situation regarding the game's development. Bizzle has asked that all of her code be removed, which is how the Leafwing is able to be played in-game, so nothing regarding the morphs will be deleted, however the Leafwing needs to be recoded into the game. Everything after the Leafwing is getting removed. The game will be reverted back to the way it was before the Leafwing was unlocked. This includes ages, the improved coloring, map changes, and quality of life improvements. These features will be coming back in the future, including the map updates. Think of it like that. This is very devastating, yes, but think of the last part. I want you to look on the positive side, and remember, this stuff, even if it takes forever, will come back. This is not the end of an era. I'm going to say this again. This is not the end of the game. This is not the end of the community. I am still going to be making videos about all this stuff. All this stuff will be coming back. Yes, we are in a dark stage right now, but it will get better. This stuff will come back. And I just really want you guys, I really want you to remember that. Please, I'm gonna say this one more time. Do not panic over this. Stay calm, and even with some things being removed, try to enjoy what the game has right now. And even after the things are removed, still try to enjoy what the game has. Try to look on the positive side of things. Just don't let all this get to you too much, and it will be okay. I'm here for you guys, and I will always make content on this game no matter what else I decide to do with my channel. This is my comfort game. Nothing bad is going to happen to the game. So to sum everything up, basically, due to breaking some rules regarding leaking, Bizzlemip, Bellasaurus, and Goldie Bays all got fired from the dev team. By Bizzlemip's request, she wanted all her additions in the game to be removed, which means pretty much everything after Leafwing is going to be removed. And while this seems like a dark era right now, things will get better. I'm trying to reassure you guys that things will get better. And despite all this, it's not really the end. Things will get re-added, and I will be here with you for all of it. And that concludes my video. Thank you so much for sticking with me as I discuss my thoughts on the situation. I'm sorry if I didn't explain all of this good enough. I really tried to explain all of this good enough, but I don't have a script because I just didn't feel like putting one together. So, I apologize if my explaining of the situation wasn't very good, but I tried. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking with me, thank you so much for watching this, and I want to tell you before I end this video, it will be okay.